Seems like it in a way.
You just get paid to play poker all day.
Yeah, basically, exactly. I'm a professional poker player this way. All right. Hey, everybody. Good evening, people. Your guys are now visible on my screen. I'm here with my buddies from Stand Up for Mental Health. I would like to raise money for this organization that has helped me so much. What Stand Up for Mental Health is it's an organization that teaches people with mental illness how to write and perform comedy. And you would be surprised at how well that actually helps the mentally ill. It helps you reframe your life in a way where you can bring people joy instead of bring people down. So today we're going to give you an example of some of that comedy. And I've got a good lineup of folks today. I'm going to be going first to give you an example of this Stand Up for Mental Health comedy. So here we go. Welcome everybody. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies, would you like to make up to $15K in 6 months working from home? Join my team of boss babes. It's not an MLM. You'd be selling drugs. You know, I'm taking a break from my mental health for a few days to work on healing my social media. After my first Stand Up for Mental Health show, a woman in the washroom asked me if I really have schizophrenia. I told her no, it's just the only way to get a comic gig in Vancouver. I also have adult ADHD, which basically means I'm a 39-year-old woman who can lose a game of Simon Says. As a schizophrenic, I hate it when neurotypicals confide in me that they sometimes see shadows in the corner of their eyes at night, or that they hear somebody call their name when they're asleep. I mean, come on. I hate it because I'm the worst person to ask for mental health advice. They're like, is this normal? And I'm like, no, the shadow people are definitely coming for us. We need to get a harpoon. You know, I hope that when the guy who invented the USB plug dies, they have to put his coffin in the ground, then pull it out, flip it around again, and stick it back in the ground again. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that skyscrapers get so tall because they have no natural predators? I'm tired of people asking me what I've been doing during the pandemic and me having to say nothing. I need to start collecting interesting lies, like I've taken up shark wrestling, or I've been coaching Mark Zuckerberg to act more human, or, well, I did lay an egg last Friday. I'm a competitive person by nature, even with my mental illness. So if I read a news article about a schizophrenic wandering naked into a stranger's house and cooking eggs on their stove, I'm like, I could do that. During COVID-19, Washington State actually finally housed the homeless. Sure, after rich people are in danger, we can finally house the homeless. We should do more stuff that's vaguely threatening to rich people, like inviting them all to a charity benefit, and then, if they don't donate, releasing tigers. By the way, I've mailed tigers to all your homes if you don't donate. All right. Have you heard of imposter syndrome? It's when people don't know whether their achievements in life are real or whether they're all just grandiose delusions. Having schizophrenia feels like imposter syndrome, except that I'm literally an imposter sneaking backstage in a political event with a press pass marked Satan. Psych meds taste so bad. Wouldn't it be cool if we had chewable flavored ones? But we're mentally ill, so they'd probably have to be flavored like vodka and cigarettes. When you're suicidal, it just doesn't make sense to buy a lifetime warranty. I told the appliance salesman that if anything, I need a disposable washing machine. You know how, if you're suicidal, your therapist will ask you if you have a plan, to see if it's urgent. Well, I have kids, so I can't commit suicide for 10 more years. Is it still a problem if my suicide is on a layaway plan? During the pandemic, I went on the vodka diet. I lost 3 days in 1 pound. I tried to dress my dog up as a skeleton for Halloween, but he buried himself in the yard. I'm still using my ex-husband's last name, so now when people ask how it's pronounced, I say, I don't care. And if they mess it up really badly, I'm like, good one. I saw a sign on my dumpster that said Waste Management Connection, and I briefly wondered if it was a dating app ad. You know, like one step below Tinder, but one step above OkCupid. I went on my first Tinder date, and the guy asked me how I knew that he wasn't an axe murderer. And I just told him it was really unlikely that 2 axe murderers would be a Tinder match. Ariana Grande and her fiance broke up last year. If she can't get a marriage off the ground, what chance do I have? I'm such lousy marriage material. I yelled off a cliff, I love you! And the echo came back, let's not limit our options. No, but seriously, my boyfriend and I both have mental illness. And you'd think it would be cool having a fight when both people have mental illness. Like we could have synchronized Vietnam flashbacks and hunt snipers back to back. But no, in reality, we just put walls between us. Like literally, he locked himself in my bedroom for an hour. But it's okay. I'm schizophrenic, so I'm used to having a conversation with my doorknob. So my boyfriend's best friend is involved in a social services case with his kids because he has a messy hoarder house. So he called us to be character witnesses. Do you know how bad your life circumstances have to be before you call mentally ill people for help? It's like if you're the Hamburglar and you have to testify, all you have to testify on your behalf are Ronald McDonald and Grimace. And I'll leave you with a few words that I spoke at the last city council meeting. What do we want? Non-specific, incomprehensible complaining. When do we want it? Argle, bargle, argle, bargle, argle, bargle. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to my sets. Yeah, we're going to welcome the next comic. She's amazing. She's here, and she's going to be giving you some of her incredible comedy on this New Year's Eve. Her name is Joan Stone. Welcome, Joan Stone.
I've dated a lot of weird guys. As you could all make it. I was mugged once. The guy stole my purse. And I thought, that's really inappropriate on a first date. I used to date a bank robber. I picked him out of a police lineup. He told me he gave it up when he got caught and put in jail for 5 years. I'm thinking, boy, he sure gives up easy. It was weird dating a bank robber. On my first date, he didn't even talk to me. He just passed notes. Then he got his life together, and he took an accounting course, and now he's a bank manager. The staff isn't too thrilled when he shows up for work with a stocking over his head. My psychiatrist said I'm a paranoid bipolar. So I said, where'd you hear that? I live with mental illness, and I learned that sleep is really important. Because without it, my psychiatrist gets really cranky. For mental illness, my psychiatrist now prescribes old-fashioned medications, like rum and coke. And that's just for him. I was in the psych ward before. My doctor kept telling me I wasn't ready to go home. So I tried to prove it to him by doing a complicated art project. It involved tying sheets together and letting myself out the window. I've gotten so used to lining up that I did it at home from my bathroom. I waited for hours before I realized that there's nobody in there because I live alone. I clean houses for a living. One lady hired me because I was a comic, and then she found out my cleaning skills were a joke. I, I work at a thrift store. It's great. I get 50% discount on anything I buy, but then again, I get 100% discount on anything I steal. I keep my jewelry locked in a special place. It's called the pawn shop. I need hearing aids. When people are talking, I hear something totally different. Some guy was talking and I hit the floor because I thought he said, I have a gun. What he actually said was, I have some gum. So I really chewed him out. I've been going to the same psychiatrist for years. I really like him. Not because he's a good doctor, but because he's so hot. I think he liked me too. He took me on a date to a place called Emerge. I was looking forward to us having some alone time, but instead he shut the door and monitored me for 72 hours. I still see a future. Thanks. That's my time.
Thank you, Joan Stone. All right. For those of you who are just joining us, I see we've got 69 viewers now. I'm doing a little comedy show here with my friends. We're from Stand Up for Mental Health, and it's a wonderful organization that teaches mentally ill folks how to write comedy in order to help cope with mental illness. But they're in need of some money because 2020 sucked for everybody, especially organizations where, you pay money to go see us in an amazing comedy hall like Yuck Yucks, but people don't necessarily want to pay money for a Zoom comedy show. So we're asking you for some donations. There's a link that happens every 5 minutes in chat, or you can type !donate. If you donate any amount, later on I will extend the show by giving you some more comedy. I got plenty where that came from. But first, let's give you some time with another one of my comic friends, April Soon.
Hi, everyone. This year has been tough on everybody. And now we're in the winter holiday season with its family stresses. How are you handling that? Been having difficulty getting an appointment to see a mental health professional? Need help right away? Welcome to my trending new business, Delicious Diagnoses Ice Cream Parlor. We have 265 different ice creams, which coincidentally exactly matches the number of documented mental health disorders. So come on in. Choose your first scoop from a variety of flavors, such as dark chocolate, deep depression, despair, bipolar butterprickle, or maybe mint mania. Then my staff will diagnose your disorder and treat your mental health issue by giving you a second scoop, like pistachio Prozac, double Dutch Dexedrine, or almond and Ativan. Included in the price is your choice of one topping or a Wellbutrin waffle cone. Here at Delicious Diagnoses, we hand out a psychiatric double scoop ice cream made for the mentally lactose intolerant too. Instead of SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, we offer SSRPs, soy substitute recupcake prohibitors. For those of you who suffer from negative cognitive distortion such as catastrophizing or fortune telling, we have extra special toppings. You have a choice of unicorn rainbow sprinkles, no nuts peanuts, and hot mess fudge. If you have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, we'll let you make us pick out all the red sprinkles. And then just to be sure, you can check it 10 times. We might even have antipsychotic ice cream sandwiches. We don't actually sell ice cream sandwiches, but customers having a psychotic episode never believe me. Then again, every once in a while, I find myself eating one too. Or how would you like a side effect shake? Our shakes come in these 3 decadent flavors. Tutti Frutti Trazodone Tremors, Strawberry Swirl Social Stigma, and my personal favorite, Cookie Dough Sexual Dysfunction. Hey, bring a date, because right now we have a 2-for-1 special on codependent relationship chocolate chip cookies. Sometimes we even have a spontaneous meditation session facilitated by our master ice cream baristas, Ben and Jerry. The great thing about Delicious Diagnoses Ice Cream Parlor is that, unlike your psychiatrist, we actually listen to customer feedback. Oh, I heard some of you groaned. So you actually like your psychiatrist? No ice cream for you. Some conditions and restrictions apply. The first diagnostic scoop is free, but none of the treatments at Delicious Diagnoses are covered by Medicare. Oh, and I forgot about the copay. If you don't have a cognitive distortion, you've got to bring your own sprinkles. Have a last-minute, really late gift you have to get? We carry special mental health gifts too, such as an anger management desk calendar with rubberized paper to achieve maximum frustration, where you tear off the day's page, rip it into a million tiny pieces, and then burn it. It comes with a free mini torch.
Nice.
So you do not have to wait 3 months for psych help. Come on down to Delicious Diagnoses Ice Cream Parlor and find out what the real scoop is. We won't desert you.
Thank you, April Soon. And I want to give a shout out to Soapmaker4 for making a donation. Thank you so much. I will do another set later for you, man. You're going to have your Soapmaker4 set coming up. But first, right now, we've got another wonderful comic lined up for you. It is my friend Kevin Scow.
Hey everyone. So, I've been having trouble with my memory this year. How's everybody's 2020 going so far? I hope it's good. So I used to be quiet. So to help me speak louder, I practiced screaming. But I soon discovered this doesn't work well in the self-help section at my local chapters. I'm getting better at being louder. Friends used to not be able to hear me. Now they just ignore me. My father recently informed me how my successes in life were because of his influence. I agreed, and I told him, "You were so right, Dad. Sometimes I think I would not even exist without you." It's like growing me, got lots of to grown about coming up. So half of me, wherever that is quack, quack, quack First Nations. That's quack, walk, a walk, not quack, quack, quack. We are not quacks. We actually go to school for it, Therese. The other half of me, somewhere, is around fourth generation from England. Unfortunately, this half keeps trying to colonize my native half. As First Nations was in Canada, it'd be kind of like our Canadian anthem. I would just end it a lot sooner. The preface says, "Oh, Canada, our home and native land," because that's really all you need to know. I'm so glad I finally received my new Indian status card. I can't wait till I see what it gets me when I finally visit India. So, I heard that if one Domino's pizza closes, does it turn out that they all close? I love delayed reactions. They're wonderful. So I was discovered I could fool a polygraph test. I thought it was really cool. But all the technician said is that I had a lie ability. You think that's a good Just to make sure they test it again, it seems I also have re-lie ability. I was with some art enthusiasts and I tried making a joke about Van Gogh. Boy, did I get an earful. During my psychosis, I believed I was responsible for humanity's quick evolution and mass positive changes. You're welcome. At one time in my illness, I tried being God, but I realized I wasn't cut out for it when I couldn't even keep my shoelaces tied. Perhaps this is why God wears sandals. I took notes to stop me from hearing voices, but they were far too effective. I'm friggin' deaf. I almost didn't hear the laughter there. It turns out my body tolerates such high doses of medication that even when I attempted to overdose on my psych meds, I just ended up feeling better. When I was in psychosis, I believed that if I could speak to people was only in my mind. But now that I use spoken words, I can no longer blame misunderstandings on other people's poor mind-reading abilities. That didn't go anywhere. I might finally be able to take one away from my set. That's awesome. My psychiatrist asked me why I talk to myself. I'm like, shush, I'm in the middle of a conversation here. She's so rude. As a comedian, my psychiatrist finds me hilarious. But when I told him that I would maybe at risk for suicide, he didn't respond. Apparently, he's still waiting for the punchline. And people think that marriage is hard. But the only really hard part I find is filling out those complicated divorce forms.
Accurate.
Another friend commented that 1 out of every 2 marriages end in divorce. I thought, great. If I understand my odds correctly, now that I've been divorced twice, there's my figures. I'm now guaranteed to be successful on at least the next 2 marriages. So my girlfriend is hot, and she thinks I'm hot too. Apparently, it just means that we need plenty of rest and lots of food. They also called me a stud muffin. It's confused me. I don't even own a bakery. They confused me with Dunkin' Donuts. And lastly, my girlfriend and I are still at the stage where we both feel like we can do no wrong. And as we all know, this stage definitely lasts forever. Yeah, we just consider that a fact. We don't know why people find that funny. Thanks, you've been an amazing audience. Have a great day.
Thank you, Kevin Scow. All right. For those of you just joining us, these are my friends from Stand Up for Mental Health, which is an amazing organization that teaches mentally ill how to write and deliver stand-up comedy. And it has been the most positive mental health program I have ever experienced in my life. And it has done more for me than any other. And I consider myself kind of a connoisseur of those. I've been around the block with mental health programs, okay? So I would love to introduce to you our last comic for this part of the show, but don't worry, I'm doing extra bit later for for those who donate. The man himself who created this amazing organization, Dan. Okay, I don't know you anymore. Sorry, David Grenier.
Wow, I have to tell you, folks, this is a low point in my comedy career. Okay. Someone who's been in my program for 5 years forgets my name before I start my set. Man, I feel pumped now. Let's give it up for Alex for setting this up and for being so wonderful and all that kind of stuff. And hey, her parents, Ed and Jean. Hey, how you guys doing? Good.
Our designated laughers.
Yeah, Ed, you're still wearing the same clothes. That's fine. You got to get a new wardrobe. I mean, like a pilgrim version of Santa Claus. No, really. But you know the way this is whole. How many viewers do we have, Alex?
We've got 66 viewers right now.
Oh, okay, you guys didn't have anything better to do either. Okay. But yeah, so the way it works later on is that if you donate, you could get to hear me do some more of my act. And once you hear it, you'll want to donate even more, so I stop, okay? Prepare you for that. But my son is staying with us for a while. He's at UVic, but of course they're back here. And the other day he's like, Dad, I'm researching intersectionality and systemic racism. And I'm like, you know something, son? How about you research how not to live in your parents' basement by the time you're 30? And instead of economic policy, maybe study how to take out the garbage and unload the dishwasher. But I am a counselor. That's one of the things I do. And been in counseling. And I was with my counselor a while back. And pause. And he's like, in his smarmiest, sycophantic counselor voice. And I'm like, that for $250 an hour, you should be doing something. I'm paying $4.66 a minute to listen to the air conditioning. But my dad recently passed away, and he was awesome. He was a mathematician. He was the absent-minded genius, but he had a weird perspective on life. He believed that shoe sizes were actually a scam perpetrated by the shoe companies. So here's a guy who can understand numbers like 1.25896 square root of whatever, but not the difference between a size 5 and a size 10. And he could find numbers like 3,500,000 to the power of a trillion, but not section 19, seat 12 when we took the soccer game. But when he was getting old, my mom said, well, you know, we should get a nurse. You know, let's get something from a Jewish agency, someone who speaks Hebrew to him. And I'm like, no way. We'll get some Israeli army nurse. She'd be like, what do you mean he fell down? Tell him to get up. No, I want 100 push-ups and sit-ups. Ah, you weaklings. In Israel, my father did push-ups and sit-ups even after he was dead. The Lord, he had his head blown off, and he still defeated half the Egyptian army. What now, a heart attack? Why, can't you see I'm having my coffee and cigarettes? But there's a new trend in mental health. It's called minimalism, making do less. And there's this guy I know who gives these presentations on minimalism for $30,000 a piece. At any rate, I can just see someone coming out of his presentation. Oh, Lance was so inspiring. Thanks to him, I'm going to renounce my possessions like my busted Coleman stove and cable, and I'm going to call the neighbors, and they're going to renounce it, and we will start a movement of peace and love and call it garage sale. And old Lance does back of the room sales. You know, he sells like books and badges and T-shirts that he tried to sell on Buy Nothing Day. It's like greed, gluttony, garbage. Renounce by buying a calendar, keychain, and a life-size poster of me on your way out. And old Lance sells minimalist diaries with flaps and chains and graphs. You know what a real minimalist diary is? A pencil, a toilet, and a roll of one ply. That's how I write all my jokes, which is why I get a minimalist amount of laughs. But here's my minimalist comedy act. Hey folks, how you doing? Okay, that's my time. Good night. That'll be $30,000. But that presentation didn't go too well for Lance because he hired a minimalist AV guy, and the guy's like, Lance, a mic? Yeah, it'll be you cupping your hands and rolling really loud. And the sound check consisted of the AV guy at the back of the room going, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. But they're apparently expanding this minimalism concept to cover all sorts of different things like adventure vacations. So picture this. They're lowering you down in the shark cage and they're like, oh yeah, forgot to tell you, we're using a minimalist amount of metal, but you're pretty sure these paper mache bars are going to hold. After all, you already signed the waiver absolving us responsibility, so what's the worst that could happen? Of course, they're new. My kid's grade 3 class made them yesterday. Or the minimalist hospital, you're going for open heart surgery, and they're like, yeah. Don't worry, anesthetic? Yeah, we'll give you 2 aspirin after the janitor cuts you open with this steak knife. And then there's the minimalist psych ward. Not only can they not afford brand name meds, they can't even afford brand name placebos. And generic sugar pills just don't work as well as the real thing. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I got a couple things I want to tell you before I go. So I have bipolar, and one of the things that happens when I'm manic is I lose touch with social cues, kind of like I'm doing right now. But no, back to the comedy. So and this goes way back. I remember in grade 5, I'm hanging out with Bob Grant, and I talked at him for an hour and a half about the Jews and anti-Semitism, and we were just supposed to be playing ball hockey. And if it hadn't been time for dinner, I would have harangued him about the state of Israel and Zionism. I mean, poor guy, he just wanted to play, not be lectured at by a 4'10" defender of the Jewish people. But I also become really irritating, really annoying. And so I've created a superhero. I'm now an irritating man, and here's how it looks. Uh-oh, robbers are in the bank. Have hostages. They want 10 million. Let's send in irritating man. 20 minutes later, the robbers come out with their hands up. Oh yeah, okay, listen, you guys, you can have the hostages. Don't worry about the 10 million. Just take this guy off our hands. The way he picks his teeth. Oh man, we should have never let him bring in that bag of corn on the cob. And he keeps following me around and correcting my grammar. He says my stick-up note has 17 errors. Another victory from irritating man. Wow, hey, great chili burrito. Anyone want to ride home? But I'm on a lot of different meds, and I used to do a lot of drugs, like legal drugs, and I don't do that anymore. But recently, my psychiatrist, Dextrin, and I love Dextrin, so I am now their spokesperson. It goes like this. Hi, folks, this is David Grenier for Dextrin. You want to abuse drugs but can't afford cocaine? With Dextrin, you can get the same paranoid delusions for just pennies a capsule. And like cocaine, Dextrin has been proven to create a false sense of well-being, which I can tell you is way better than the real thing. Side effects include constipation, diarrhea, oversleeping, undersleeping, undereating, overeating, and wondering how many more opposite pairs of side effects does that stupid drug have? Thank you so much for coming to the fundraiser, and thank you, Ed and Jean. Give them a big round of applause. Give Alex and all the comics you heard a big round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you for everything. And thank you. We got another donation in from Nikki Pickle. Thank you so much, Nikki Pickle. We're going to kick off some more comedy for you. I do want to first thank all the comics, because I know some of you have places to go and, hopefully diseases not to catch. So I'll say thank you for participating in my show. I know that David and I are willing to do additional comedy for our donors. But first, I need to take a quick break for two reasons. One, I need to roll a commercial so that we won't be interrupted by a commercial. And two, I need to go pee, and you would have to pay like a lot more to watch me go pee. So I'm going to go ahead and roll commercial. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with more comedy, all right?
I thought this was a kid-friendly show.
I know, right? Exactly. This is not an OnlyFans, you guys. I gotta roll a commercial, but we'll be right back. So hang in there, guys, and I'll put up the break screen.
Thank you for setting this up, Alex. It was fun.
Yeah. See, there we go. Yay, we're back. Hey. Welcome. We are doing this comedy for Stand Up for Mental Health, and we have had 2 donations so far. We've got some from Soap Maker 4 and some for Nikki Pickle. So I'm going to do a extra 2-minute set for every single donation that comes in tonight, and David's here for a little bit, at least for 20 more minutes. So he's going to do some as well. So I'm going to pop out my timer so that I can time myself, and we're going to go with some more comedy. Yes. 2 more minutes from me, and however many more minutes that David wants to do.
Sure.
And then I'll do 2 more after that because we've got 2 donors. All right, here goes. Go ahead and click that link in chat if you want to donate, or type !donate to get that link happening again. All right. So did you know, right, this year that Kanye West announced that he was running for president of the United States? And the first Twitter thread I saw about this is somebody asking, would anyone vote for somebody who admitted that they have mental illness? Like, really? One of the world's biggest a-holes, and the reason you'd want to choose to reject him as a world leader is him possibly going to a doctor to actually treat a mental problem? Newsflash, people, politicians with a mental illness still exist even if they aren't diagnosed, right? But in real life here, I am just a little too poor for Netflix and chill. Can't we just YouTube and rub our hands together briskly for warmth? My therapist says I need to make room in my life for things that I've lost. So I drained my bank account to make room for more money. Not only did I not sell any tickets to my last comedy show, I sold back my comped tickets to myself. As a schizophrenic, none of my imaginary friends need tickets. Sometimes when my mental illness gets the better of me, the fight or flight reflex kicks in. I call it jogging. My mom here, I tried to get her into running, and she said, joggers always frown. Show me one runner who looks like she's having a good time, and I will try it. So I always run like this. Having the best time. You know, if there's ever a U.S. war with Canada, the Canadian Navy will easily overpower the U.S. with the sheer number of canoes. And last joke for this small mini set. Here are a few facts about Canadian geese. Geese have a highly developed amygdala, allowing them to experience a wide range of emotions, from anger to rage to bitchy barista. Another goose fact. Being attacked by a goose actually feels a lot like being run over by a Buick, except for with more honking. And finally, the only natural enemy of the Canada goose is the American hobo. All right, that's my second set. I'll be doing another one for Nikki Pickle, but that one's for you, Soap Maker 4. Why don't we give David a chance to deliver some more jokes for you? Give it a hand for him.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, Nikki Pickle and what maker for?
Soap Maker 4.
Soap Maker 4. Wow, you mean there's 3 others of you? Well, it's, Alex mentioned about, politicians with mental illness do still exist. Yeah, they're the only type. I mean, come on. That actually wasn't a joke. That was just me
Facts.
ranting on funny things. But we've done some awesome gigs with Stand Up for Mental Health. We've also done some terrible ones. And Alex, you were on this one. Remember, we did that gala. 900 people. They talked through everything. So before us, remember, there was that woman who was telling the heart-wrenching story about a suicide attempt. They talked right through her. Then we come on. They talked right through. We were dreadful. And after we finished, the suicidal woman comes up and goes, "You know something? I thought my life was bad till I saw you guys." But I finally figured out what my chiropractor's favorite breakfast cereal is: Rice Krispies, because they go snap, crackle, pop. I know that's just pathetic. But yeah, so I found this great non-drug way of overcoming depression. It's called winning the lottery. And I think the government should do a study where they give a group of depressed people like me, $1 million and see what it does for our moods. And in the interest of science, I'm offering to go first and participate in numerous trials. But with my luck, I'd end up in the placebo group. But it really is all about efficacy. Okay, so antidepressants take 4 to 6 weeks to work. Money, $1 million takes 4 to 6 seconds. I can just see going back to my, my psychiatrist a week later. Listen, doc, I stuff on my prescription. I'm still kind of depressed. You know what would make me really happy? Like a year's worth of refills, and I don't have a punchline for that. I just sort of figuring out. But okay, my psychiatrist, when it comes to prescribing my meds, she uses a cutting edge diagnostic technique. It's called guessing. And it's like, oh, we'll start a little bit of this, add a little bit of that. I can just see them using this in other areas. If you're going skydiving, yeah, the parachute will open. Oh, no need for a safety check. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I mean, hey, if it doesn't work, let's try adding some stuff. Maybe adjusting your dose of wind and ground. But I used to get my prescriptions years ago in my drug days from a dealer. Now I like my dealer better than my pharmacist because he's tried all the meds that he prescribes or sells, and for the right price, he'll deliver at 3 a.m. to my house. But I really do like the fact that dealers have tried all the drugs they sell. Can you imagine if pharmacists had to do this? Okay, guys, tomorrow we're going to do all 248 laxatives. Next week we start on birth control. Then again, when you're on 248 laxatives, who needs birth control? But the last joke for this set, for those of you who work for a living, they have come up. So workplaces are always looking for ways to boost morale. And this one workplace, to boost morale, has Naked Fridays, where everyone shows up to work naked. Because nothing boosts morale more than seeing a skinny middle-aged white guy giving a PowerPoint presentation. I can just see, yeah, we got the big client meeting this afternoon. Any ideas? Yeah, get them to come on Monday, okay? Anyhow, that's my time. Back to you, Alex.
All right, thank you so much. Awesome. Hey, Way Too Cool says that they actually own 3 geese. Hey, watch out. There's still 6 hours of 2020 left. There's time for mutant geese attacks to occur. Okay? And Nikki Pickle says, a comedian is funny when they don't even need a punchline to be funny. That's right. I mean, I don't use those, I just buy them off of Fiverr occasionally. But that was a set done for Soap Maker 4 who donated. Thank you for your donation. If you want to donate, please type !donate into chat and you will get the link. Now I'm going to do another 2 minutes for Nikki Pickle. Let's go. All right, we just finished up with geese. Let's go. Here's another one for you. 2 more minutes. Here we go. Okay, I've noticed that to people with anxiety disorders, a global pandemic is just another ordinary day. Okay? Anxiety people are going to do just fine, and we should probably look to them to run the world while the rest of us freak out. Okay? The best I've got to offer is delusions and paranoia. I can't function with the rest of humanity, but if you need to blame the sky monsters that make the sky train scream, I'm with you. Everybody on the SkyTrain now is wearing masks because of the COVID-19 virus. But you know who's not wearing masks? Bank robbers. That's right. They're yelling, all right, everybody, I've got the virus, hit the floor. You know, having schizophrenia is like a waking nightmare, except my dream journal is just my regular journal. Is it any wonder that I wear pajamas and count sheep in the grocery store? You know, reading conspiracy theories written by people without a paranoia diagnosis is cute. It's like watching a kindergartner sounding out their vowels, you know? Like, yeah, 9/11 was an inside job by lizard people is nice, but have you ever considered that Russia is starting a microwave gun war with their enemies because they know if they get zapped inside, they'll still be frozen in the middle? You know, chasing my doctor down to get a new prescription is harder than getting a celebrity to sign an autograph. In fact, celebrities are friendly about it and more accessible. I told my pharmacist that's why my Zyprexa script is signed by Dr. House. All right, that's my next 2 minutes. You're going to have to donate to hear any more out of me for tonight, but you will be able to hear a little bit more from David. Let's hear it up for me first. Yay, me!
Yeah, Alex.
And thank you for the follow, Darnag7. Awesome. Go ahead and donate for more comedy from me, but right now I'd like to kick it over to David. He's going to do another set. If you donate, you might get more from him before the night is over. All right, let's go, David.
Yeah. So, Alex is talking about, schizophrenia and stuff like that. So, the mental health professional, my profession, we have been wrong about so many things. They used to say that schizophrenia was caused by cold, controlling mothers. And it's like, give me a break. Moms aren't stupid. If they have that much control over their kid, they're not going to get him to hallucinate. They're going to get him to clean his room, go to church, stop watching the neighbor through binoculars. But I've actually been suicidal. I've attempted suicide, and people are afraid to use those words. A friend of mine said, "I might get ideas," and I'm like, I used the words "mow the lawn" to my son every day for 8 years, and it never gave him any ideas. But I've also written a book, a self-help book for pessimists. It's called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Too bad you'll never be one. Actually, I did write a book, a self-help book that came out like a while, years ago, and it never sold. It sucked, anyhow. But this one guy read the book, and it was an amazing book. And he read the book, and he had a really powerful experience. Yeah, he wanted his money back. But my doctor, he's got this. It's impossible to get an appointment with him because he runs this beauty clinic, this anti-aging, all sorts of stuff. Temporary fixes and all this kind of stuff, and they do lip augmentation for a quote fuller, more noticeable pout. Now, I looked in the dictionary, and they say pout is when you push your lower lip forward to appear sexually attractive. And I totally get it because the babes go wild when I do this. Yeah. But I do a lot of traveling, and I hate flying in those little planes. They just drive me. I hate them. And I remember I was doing this gig in Northern Ontario. For those of you not from Canada, like, you never want to go there. It sucks. Oh, hopefully there's no one there. Oh, maybe there are people there from Northern Ontario. Well, too bad you were cheap. You didn't donate. You deserve it. You deserve to be harangued. I mean, we had what, 3 donations from Nikki Pickle and Soap
Soap Maker 4.
Yeah, so all the rest of you are cheap. So this is Alex. This is a way of getting donations. Harassing your audience, and yeah, I'll tell you all about it. It's why our organization is so flush with cash that we that I need to be here doing a fundraiser
on Twitch on New Year's Eve.
Oh, we're just killing it when it comes to our bank account.
Yeah, 2020.
So what? Oh yeah, okay. So they say that depression can be cured by exercise. But if that's the case, how come Olympic athletes get depressed? You know, some guys like, I run, bike, swim, lift weights, and I'm still depressed. And I'm like, that's because you run, bike, swim, lift weights, and I get depressed just hearing about it. Anyhow, folks, that's it for me. Back to you, Alex.
Thank you so much. All right, we're getting towards the end of the show. Unless you donate, and that will extend from me. I've got tons more jokes where that came from. I write jokes instead of making friends, and so, it's great. But before I let you go, David, I would love you to do your spiel, the one that always rends the hearts, about how you want stigma to disappear in our society. So could you please say that part?
Yes, I would be glad to. And just to bring the show crashing down to a halt, let me oblige me for a moment. So I have this vision of where our society needs to be, and that is, so people will be working together, not in the naked workplace, like in a regular workplace, where people do that old-fashioned thing called close. But and someone will come in one day and they'll, I've got a headache. It's no big deal. Everyone can handle it. People say, can I get you some tea? Would you like an aspirin? Someone needs to be able to go into that same workplace and say, you know something, I'm right on the edge of a panic attack, or my voices are a little bit loud, and it needs to be treated exactly the same. No big deal. Can I get you a tea? Can I get you an aspirin? And the gap between where we are now and where we need to be, that's where all the prejudice and the stigma and the discrimination lies. When I attempted suicide in my teens, I ended up in the psych ward. And when I left the psych ward, I felt broken. I felt so ashamed of what I had done and who I felt I had become. I was so ashamed. I would see people that I knew previous to being hospitalized walking down the block towards me, and I would run around the corner because I did not want to. And then I fast forward to today, and I think what a difference it would have made in my life to see folks like Alex, rest of the comics you saw doing stand-up comedy. I thought, wow, so these people have been through what I've been through, and look what they are capable of doing. And if they can do something amazing like that, maybe, just maybe, I can too. It would have given me hope that recovery is possible. So please give us money. I can't even. This is actually, there are some organizations, they have what are called gift planners. And I thought, oh, isn't that nice? Gifts. No, gift planners, they get you to leave them money in your will. In my family, we call these people relatives, okay? So anyhow, thank you so much for coming. Alex, thank you so much for doing this. I am going to sign off now.
Right.
So anyhow, I'll see you in 2021, Alex.
Yeah, see you. Good night, David. And good night, Mom. Good night, Dad. Thank you for coming and laughing. You guys were great designated laughers.
Thank you.
All right. Happy New Year. And don't forget to pee on 2020.
I will do that. I will do that.
All right.
Together.
Love you. Bye-bye.